What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the 2024 Honda Prologue. This one is the Elite all-wheel drive, finished off in Pacific Blue Metallic. MSRP is just under $60,000. A few things worth noting: this is a pre-production car, so there might be a few things on it that don't exactly correspond to the production model. On top of that, this is actually built in conjunction with General Motors in their North American facility, based off of the same platform that the Chevy Blazer EV is on. So you are going to see a lot of General Motors aspects, like the key fob, a few buttons, and things like that. Powering the 2024 Honda Prologue is an 85 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. For the electric motors, it is pumping out 288 horsepower with 333 pound-feet of torque. This is also all-wheel drive. Max cruising range is around 273 miles. Curb weight is 5,200 pounds, and max towing capacity is 1,500 pounds. The overall length is 190 inches, with wheelbase at 121.8. Width is 78.3, height is 65.2, and then ground clearance is 8.1 inches. Moving on to the styling with the 2024 Honda Prologue Elite. This is definitely a pretty cool looking car overall, especially in this color combination. Taking a look at the LED headlights, they have a nice black surround and then a darker housing. The upper section all fades into the nice gloss black with the Honda badge, as well as a forward-facing camera. You're going to see forward-facing parking sensors as well. Some nice clean body lines throughout. We have some gloss black trim down below, LED on the fog lights, gloss black trim right in the center, and then a small opening with a safety sensor and an area for some cooling. Overall, this is a pretty good looking car. I like these smooth body lines, nothing too crazy sharp, but it still has a very bold appearance. We have sharp lines on the farthest side of the hood, connecting with one sharp line in the upper portion. Really nice style, can't complain at all. As we make our way to the side profile, I love these 21-inch wheels. Really cool looking design with a multi-spoke look. You get the machine silver, gloss black, and then all gloss black trim surrounding these fender arches. Very smooth body lines throughout the side profile, and then more of this gloss black down below. We got gloss black on the door handles, as well as the mirror caps, integrated turn signal, and a side view camera. Then you can see all the gloss black trim surrounding the windows. Really sleek looking, along with the roof rails up above, with a panoramic sunroof. For the side profile, it's a pretty proportional looking crossover, very sporty looking, with more of that coupe design for the rear end sloping back towards the rear. You can see an integrated spoiler up above with some gloss black trim surrounding it, and then the taillights all match what we saw up on the headlights. Nice gloss black trim surrounding it, and then Honda is written out. Pretty interesting how it is a capital H and everything else is lowercase. Generally cars are always capitalized. You're going to see the logos on the right for the E and all-wheel drive, Prologue Elite on the left, and then more of the gloss black trim and silver color contrast throughout the rear. We got your backup camera and parking sensors, of course, and it all ties in together to give this a pretty stylish appearance. Moving to the key fob, we get lock, unlock, remote start, and trunk release. You got the Honda badge on the left side. You're also going to notice the charge port is up front here. If I go ahead and lock the car, you get the power folding side mirrors. You can just grab the door handle, press that button, and take a look at the interior. This one has the two-tone interior with the gray and the black. And then taking a look at the door panel, primarily finished in black, but then we have the nice gray for the center, as well as a padded armrest. Got some gloss black trim, your release handle, window and mirror controls, memory seating, lock, unlock, and release handle. Storage down below, and then all of your power controls on the left side of the seat with lumbar support. We have the gray color, and then this nice orange color for the stitching, perforated leather throughout the center. Nice style overall. And then a 3-spoke steering wheel with some silver trim. And then now inside the 2024 Honda Prologue, keeping my foot on the brake, we go ahead and fire it all up. Both screens are going to turn on, and you get some nice warning chimes as well. And then one last look at the steering wheel. You do have some controls on the left side for cruise control, and then a few more Bluetooth and audio controls on the right with a heated steering wheel control. You can toggle this icon. You're going to see a few things popping up, like full screen nav, some safety sensor information as well, and then back to your main screen. You can also scroll up and down on that right side, toggle between that, and then in the center you got that digital speed readout, power. You also have your range as well as your percentage. On the left side, you're going to see the stock for all the windshield wiper controls, turn signal, of course. On the right side is actually your drive select. So with your foot on the brake, you pull it back and down, that's drive, and then back and up is reverse, and then you have the P button for park. And then down below we can see There's the lane keeping, auto start stop, our sport mode, as well as an electronic park and brake. Got one of your air vents, heads-up display, and then just some smooth material across the entire dash. Nice soft touch as well. You have your air vents on the far side, some gloss black trim with silver, more air vents in the center, and then the infotainment screen. So if we toggle the top left, you have some safety controls you're able to adjust. We also have all of your Bluetooth integration, nav, audio information, and then under here you have a customizable section. Home icon, you can see all sorts of different things you can view, all sorts of tabs and tiles. You have charging information you can take a look at. Under camera, you're going to see a nice top-down view, forward-facing camera. You can toggle that to the rear, and you can also have a top-down for the front and rear. And you will notice a lot of this is General Motors, so you can definitely see the integration. Apple CarPlay as well. And then down below, we have all of our climate controls. We have our dual zone temperature you can easily adjust. You have heated and ventilated seating, fans, your different zones, of course the passenger side. A few plugs down below here, and then a nice amount of storage in the center. We have 2 cup holders along with wireless phone charging in this slot, and then there's extra storage down below there. Got some gray and padding for your armrest with contrast stitching, and then a pretty decent amount of storage down below. There's also a credit card style key fob, which is a really cool touch. And then the glove box on the right, pretty large bucket. One last look at the interior. It's a pretty nice interior overall. It is definitely very simple, however pretty roomy in here with a good use of materials. Got that massive sunshade opened up for the panoramic sunroof, and then up above you're going to see all those controls for the glass, the shade. You got OnStar in here as well, and then a nice thin rearview mirror. And then moving on to the rear seat space, grabbing the door handle and open it up. You're going to see really similar door panels with the gray and black. You can see the padding in the center, your grab handle as well. And then you can take a look at all the colors for the stitching, the two-tone on the seats, perforations throughout the center with all the gray accents. Center seat, we can grab the strap, pull it down. You're going to get 2 cup holders along with a nice armrest. There are climate vents back here with storage, and then a few different plugs down below. You're also going to notice we have storage underneath all the seats. And then you can grab this handle back here, and these will fold down nice and flat, giving you extra cargo, and then a good entry point into the back. Hopping into the back seat now with the 2024 Honda Prologue. At 5'11", this is a pretty decently comfortable back seat. I am sitting here with the driver's seat at my height, and I have a lot of legroom and footroom. Headroom, I would say, is kind of close to not quite enough. My head is just barely touching the ceiling. So a little cramped, I would say. The seat itself doesn't recline, but it is at a really good recline to where I'm generally sitting in here pretty comfortably. You definitely sit pretty far back compared to where the windows are. Windows way up here, and yet my head is by the pillar. So it's a little interesting sitting back here, but overall you have nice amenities. If you slouch just a tad, your head doesn't really touch the ceiling. So overall, for a family crossover, it's definitely pretty roomy, I think. Really can't complain much with the back seat, just wouldn't mind a tad more headroom. Moving to the cargo area, you can double tap the button on the key fob. There is a button on the back as well as in the door panel. Got your power liftgate, and then this has a pretty flat load floor, pretty roomy in here. You're gonna get just a little bit of a cutout on the far right side and left side, and then I do like the hidden storage all down below. We have our charge kit right there, along with a tow hook, extra storage, and then a really deep part right there for even more. That's really good for groceries and colder items. Pretty cool design. From here, you are able to push these seats back. You can just push the button and you'll get these manually forward. So they're gonna kind of spring assist as well, folding down nice and flat as you can tell, and really amplifying the cargo space. We got a handle and a button up there. You can automatically close everything. And then one last look through here. You're gonna fold nice and flat and really maximize the cargo space you're gonna get in this electric car. All right, so setting off in the Prologue, we're in the sport mode. Not bad acceleration. It's not a fast car, I would say, but it's pretty darn peppy. It gets up to speed really well. Very seamless too. One thing kind of funny, the sport mode button is right next to the park and brake, and sometimes you might accidentally tap that. I wouldn't say sport mode really does all that much. Honestly, it pretty much feels the same, so probably never going to waste your time pressing that button. As far as some normal driving, this is a really comfortable crossover. I think it's really well sized. I fit in here, in the driver's seat especially, really nicely. Seats are super comfortable, the ventilation on. I mean, it's a nice place to be. You got huge windows, pretty large windshield as well. The right shoulder isn't too bad. The mirror is a little small, but honestly pretty nice and easy to see around. Cameras do a great job in the slow speed, and like most electric cars with the battery in the floorboards, the center of gravity is really low, which makes for a pretty confident car when you're taking turns. Normal driving, this thing is really smooth and quiet. I mean, you just don't really hear anything at 50 miles an hour. So it's a nice car to just daily drive. Going around some turns casually. I mean, steering feels good. It's a pretty effortless, nice car to drive. Now, the little paddle shifter on this left side is actually more of like an electronic brake. So when we get up a little bit quicker, if you basically hold this, it will brake the car. So you can kind of see that a little bit. The charge goes down in the green, and I wasn't putting my foot on the brake or anything. So it's almost like an extra way to hit the brakes a little bit. Not sure when you would really use this, given it does the same thing as the foot brake, but I guess that's one way to just kind of slow down a little bit using your hand, which is a cool touch. Now, like I mentioned, this is built by General Motors, and before I even knew that, just looking around, of course, a lot of the buttons, the way the screen is laid out, you can just kind of tell that. So kind of neat way to do it. Of course, it makes it much more cost effective, given these are very expensive to build. So it's a pretty neat collaboration between the two brands. But the overall driving, it's a nice car. I don't think I really have any driving complaints. It's powerful enough for the average buyer to get up to speed. I mean, you're not gonna have any issues merging onto the highway, getting into fast traffic or anything like that. And the sizing is really good. I mean, it's generally a good size car to where if you want to use this for general crossover style things, family stuff, road trips, you know, I don't really see a problem with that. And the range is pretty decent, you know, almost 300 miles. I still have 170 left on the charge, and we're almost around the 50% mark. So it's pretty economical for an EV. I'd say the range is really good. You hear that slow speed electronic sounds as we get to the slower speeds, of course, for kind of pedestrian safety. But overall, it's a pretty quiet vehicle to drive, nice and smooth. And the shifter doesn't take too much getting used to. You gotta pull it back and down and everything. But once you kind of get used to it, it's really no big deal. As we hit some train tracks in a second, let's see how smooth this is. Yeah, suspension absorbs bumps really well. There's some cars where that is a really uncomfortable thing to go through. So nice to have a solid suspension and just overall a pretty roomy car at the end of the day. Pretty nimble too, just kind of making some maneuvers. So I like how it doesn't have the massive footprint of some other crossovers, and yet you do get a really big interior and a nice power plant to be overall a really good electric car that's simple to use on the inside. So turning around to my honest thoughts perspectives with the Honda Prologue. So first time checking one of these out. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid choice for an electric car. And I would assume that the Chevy Blazer EV is probably pretty much the exact same driving experience, just slightly different in style. Kia EV6 is probably another really good competitor to this. But I'd say this is one of the better electric cars, given the outside looks really nice. You know, some electric cars honestly look a little weird. I think this looks pretty cool. Really cool style. The big wheels look awesome. The color looks really, really good. Ride quality, I mean, it's pretty smooth, pretty nice to be in. And then the interior is very normal. I'm not a big fan of the electric cars that just get way too weird looking. Just one tablet and that's everything. I like how you have physical buttons for the climate controls. It's a normal interior when you're driving this car. So there's not really a learning curve to this new Honda. So I think that's a big plus. Ride quality is really good. It's quiet, it's comfortable, it's roomy. I mean, you really can't complain with much. And I think Honda probably did it in a smart way. Seems like Honda and Toyota are both doing the electric cars very similarly, to where they're not fully investing in developing their own platform. These cost a ton to make, and Ford has reported so many losses. I mean, the Mustang Mach-E, they average like $100,000 a pop to produce, and yet they sell them for a lot less. So electric cars kind of seem to be a loser as far as money goes. So if you're a manufacturer producing your own electric car, it doesn't seem too cost effective, judging by at least what Ford has reported with all their losses. So the fact that Honda is collaborating with General Motors to kind of develop the platform together, build the similar cars on the same platform, which similar to what Toyota has done with their BZ4X or whatever they call that one with Subaru, same with Lexus and Subaru as well. So I think they're doing it a pretty good way. You know, these are expensive to make, and some people really like electric cars. I'm not a big fan of them. I would stick with a hybrid if you actually want something economical and cost effective. But for the people who like electric cars and want a Honda, I think this is a great way they've done it. Built in North America too, so not too far from us. And I think overall you get a good platform with this. It's going to be a very widespread platform as well, which is pretty good to see. And the fact that you have normal GM and Honda stuff kind of mixed in this car, it makes it very simple and easy. And for 60 grand, honestly, I don't feel like it's too expensive. These start a little bit less than that, closer to 50 grand, just depending on the trim levels. You have 3 trims basically. This one is a fully loaded model. Don't really think you can complain much. Even when you look at the other spectrum of crossovers at this size, you know, maybe a Honda CR-V loaded up a little bit above $40,000 mark, but that car's also a little bit smaller. So not a bad way to go. And then for about 50 to 55, you can get a Honda Pilot with a 3rd row. So this still is more expensive as expected, given it is a full EV, but I don't feel like it's astronomically expensive. There's some other brands that have some that are like $80,000, which is a ripoff, especially when you look at the depreciation of electric cars. So I think this one's probably a pretty decently safe bet. Not to say it's not going to depreciate really bad, but it seems like it's not too expensive to get into, decent platform overall, and you do get a really good driving experience. Quick enough, really roomy, really comfortable. This would be a pretty good daily drivable EV, I would say, given you have a good range on it. You know, this is something you can use from the day-to-day going to work, taking the kids to school, going on weekend things as well. And if you have the level 2 charger in your home, it's not going to be crazy to charge it up. Now this one, the kit that is in the back, it has 2 different plugs, one for a normal 3-prong, and then the level 2 charging as well if your home is equipped with that. So it seems like a pretty good kit to have in this car, to where you do have that higher output charging. I mean, overnight, once a week, you're pretty much going to be at a full charge really easily. So this seems to be a very livable EV, I would say. I've enjoyed it for, you know, a couple days that I've had it so far for the week, and I don't know, I think Honda did a pretty decent job. I'm not too sure about like the plastics on some areas, if they are production ready. This does look cheap with this plastic. I'm not sure if this is just because it's a pre-production car. But other than that, used materials seem nice with the vinyls, the synthetic materials. The leather seats are nice, they're comfortable. I don't think I have any major complaints, honestly. I think if you're looking for an electric crossover, honestly, this is one to put on the list. I think Honda's done a good job with whatever they've done as far as the developing of this platform. It seems like a pretty solid choice. But that is it for the 2024 Honda Prologue Elite all-wheel drive. Awesome color. This spec definitely looked really good. It pops nicely. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for plenty more content. And I'll see you all in the next video.